It started on an ordinary night. The kind of night where everything seems quiet, almost too quiet. I was alone in my apartment, the only light coming from the faint glow of my computer monitor. The room felt heavy, oppressive, as if the air itself was waiting for something. I could hear the faint hum of electronics, the occasional creak of the building settling, and nothing else. Then I saw it. A new video appeared on my screen. I hadn't uploaded it. I hadn't opened the folder. The thumbnail, it was me. Or something like me. Sitting at this very desk, staring at the camera, eyes wide, terrified. My chest tightened. My hand moved toward the mouse almost automatically, and yet I hesitated. Something about the video was wrong. The light was dim, the shadows stretched too long, the corners of the room warped in ways they shouldn't. And still, it felt real. Too real. I clicked it. The screen flickered. My own voice, my voice, but not mine, whispered. Finally. I froze. My eyes darted around the room. Everything looked normal. At least it seemed normal. The walls, the floor, the chair I sat on, nothing out of place. And yet, the air felt heavier, colder, deliberate, like something was pressing against the back of my mind. The video showed me sitting at my desk. But I wasn't moving. My hands rested on the table, my eyes wide, watching. Then, the figure on the screen blinked. And the blink wasn't just normal, it was delayed, slightly off. The mouth moved, but in a way I didn't. I leaned in closer, heart hammering. "Do you see?" the voice whispered. I jumped. The sound hadn't come from the speakers. It came from behind me. I spun around. Nothing. Just the room. Empty. Still. Silent. But when I turned back, the video had changed. The figure was closer now. Watching me. Smiling. And I realized with a sudden, icy clarity, it wasn't just a video. It was waiting. My hands shook as I stared at the screen. The figure, me, but not me, leaned closer, its eyes unervingly still, locked on mine. Every movement was deliberate, slow, controlled, like it knew exactly how to make me panic. The room felt smaller. The walls seemed to press inward, the shadows stretching longer, darker. A faint sound scraped across the floor behind me. I froze. Not a creak from the building. Not the hum of electronics. Something alive. Something heavy. Something moving. I dared to glance over my shoulder. Nothing. Just the same empty room. Yet the air felt wrong. I could feel it brushing against my neck, circling me, patient, deliberate. I wanted to run. My legs refused. My body felt heavier, tethered to the chair. The video continued. My self in the frame spoke without moving its lips. Words echoed in my mind. Watching is useless. You can't hide. You're already part of it. My heartbeat accelerated. The hairs on the back of my neck rose. I felt observed. Not just by the video, but by something in the room, something waiting, shifting, moving closer in ways I couldn't see. The screen flickered. For a brief moment, I saw the room behind me, or thought I did. Shadows that shouldn't have been there twisted unnaturally. A shape, tall and thin, crouched behind the doorway. Its head tilted, watching me. I spun around again. Nothing. But when I looked back at the monitor, the figure was smiling wider. Not just smiling. Laughing, softly. A soundless laugh that I felt in my chest. My mouth went dry. My vision tunneled. The cursor on the screen moved on its own. Slowly. Hovered over publish. Paused. Then pressed enter. The room went colder. The shadows shifted again, closer, darker, curling toward me. I could feel them touching my skin, brushing against my shoulders, whispering in a language I couldn't understand. The figure in the video raised a hand, my hand, and pointed directly at me. The moment it did, the lights in the room flickered. 4. The shadows closed in completely. The air was suffocating, thick, as if it had weight. My own body refused to move. My hands twitched on the desk, my legs useless. Every instinct screamed to run, but I was paralyzed. The monitor glowed. My double stood fully in the room now, impossibly calm, impossibly perfect. Its eyes mirrored mine, every fear, every hesitation, but colder, sharper, alive. The reflection on the screen wasn't mine anymore. Behind it, dozens of faces stared back, each identical, each darker, each smiling. A scraping sound encircled me, deliberate, slow, echoing from all corners of the room. The shadows weren't just behind me anymore, they were inside me. I felt them in my chest, pressing, twisting, merging. The double in the video raised a hand. My own lifted without consent. The whisper inside my mind echoed again. Now. I felt a pull, stronger than gravity, stronger than thought. My consciousness seemed to stretch, tear, unravel. The shadows pressed closer, folding the room around me, pulling me toward the screen. Then, a sudden stillness. Silence. I blinked. The monitor was black. The shadows gone. My hands rested on the desk. My chest heaved, my pulse racing. I was alive. I thought I had escaped. Until I saw the folder on my desktop. A new video had appeared. Its thumbnail showed me. Sitting at my desk. Watching. Smiling. And the file name read, Part 11, U. I wanted to delete it. I tried. My hand moved. But it wasn't me who clicked. The screen flickered. My own voice whispered, calm, familiar, but not mine. See? You never really left. I realized then that the double didn't need to replace me physically. It was already here, in the videos, in the reflections, in the parts of me that I thought were mine. And every time I blinked, every time I moved, every thought I had, it was learning, copying, waiting. The last thing I saw before the screen blinked again was that cold, perfect smile, mine, but not mine. And I. The shadow detached fully from the walls, moving with impossible grace. Its long, thin limbs crept along the floor, bending corners and furniture as it approached. The air was cold, thick, suffocating. My chest burned, my lungs screamed for air, but I could barely move. The monitor flickered. My double stepped out of the screen completely, solid, alive, mirrored perfectly, every twitch, every glance, every heartbeat in sync. Its eyes bore into mine. Hunger. Calculation. Perfection. I tried to back away. My legs refused. My hands twitched uncontrollably toward the keyboard. The shadows wrapped around my feet, crawling up, brushing my legs, tightening like chains. The scraping sound circled me, deliberate, mocking. The reflection on the monitor shifted. Not just mine anymore. Behind it, the other face, identical, darker, smiling. It leaned forward, lips moving in perfect sync with the voice inside my head. You can't escape. You belong to me now. Cold fingers brushed my shoulder. My body jumped, but I couldn't pull away. The shadow was here. Solid. Real. Pressing, bending the air, mimicking my movements, learning every hesitation. The double in the monitor raised a hand. My own moved with it. Against my will. The shadows rose higher, pressing inward, pushing me toward the desk. My chest tightened further. I wanted to scream. Nothing came. The red light on the camera blinked steadily. The presence behind me shifted closer. My reflection on the monitor smiled wider than possible, lips twisting in a grin that wasn't mine. I realized with horror, it wasn't just going to replace me slowly. It was going to consume me. And there was nothing I could do to stop it. The air thickened. The shadows pooled around me. My body moved without permission. And the double in the monitor whispered one final word inside my mind. Now. The shadows moved faster now, slithering along the floor like living liquid. The air pressed against me with every breath, cold and suffocating. My body trembled uncontrollably. My legs barely held me upright. My hands twitched toward the desk, obeying commands that weren't my own. The monitor glowed. My double was no longer just a video image. It stepped closer, crossing the boundary between screen and room, impossibly solid, impossibly calm. Its eyes locked onto mine, studying, calculating. Every micro-movement of mine was mirrored perfectly. A scraping sound echoed across the floor, deliberate, slow. I turned. Shadows pooled in the corners, stretching impossibly long, bending walls, wrapping the furniture in darkness. I could feel them brushing my legs, crawling upward, climbing toward me. The reflection in the monitor flickered. My face stared back, and behind it, another face. Identical. Watching. Smiling. Darker. Knowing. You can't fight it, the voice whispered inside my mind. Not from the room. Not from the speakers. Somewhere deeper, closer than my own skin. I tried to step back. My legs refused. My body was frozen. The double raised a hand, and my hand moved with it. Against my will. The shadows thickened, rising like smoke, forming shapes that pressed and twisted around me. The metallic scent was stronger now, sharp and cold. My chest burned. I wanted to scream, but no sound came. The scraping moved closer, deliberate, waiting. I could feel it against my spine, a presence that shouldn't exist. The monitor flickered. The double leaned forward, lips moving in sync with the whisper in my mind. Soon, it will be over for you. A shadow detached from the wall. Taller than anything natural, impossibly thin, bending as it moved, wrapping closer around me. My reflection on the monitor blinked when I didn't, smiled when I grimaced. The room pressed inward. The darkness was alive. And I knew, with a bone-deep certainty, that this was no longer a game. The shadows at my feet shifted, curling upward like living smoke. The air pressed against my skin, cold and heavy, as if invisible fingers were gripping my arms and shoulders. My heartbeat thundered in my ears, each pulse echoing in the silent room. The monitor glowed again. My double was no longer just in the video. It leaned forward over the desk, impossibly still, watching me with a smile that didn't belong to me. Every movement it made mirrored my own, but slower, more deliberate, precise. I could feel it studying me, learning me. A scraping sound crawled along the floor behind me. I dared to glance back. Nothing. The shadows seemed normal, for a heartbeat, then they twisted unnaturally, stretching impossibly toward me. The darkness pulsed like it had a life of its own. I tried to move. My legs betrayed me. My hands twitched uncontrollably on the desk. The chair creaked as if under weight that wasn't mine. Something was coming closer. Something cold. Something wrong. Then I saw it, in the reflection on the black screen. Not just my own reflection. Another face, identical to mine, grinning, twisted, watching. Its eyes were darker than mine, filled with calculation, hunger. You can't escape, the voice whispered inside my mind. Not from the speakers. Not from the room. From somewhere deep, too close. The shadows thickened, curling higher, forming shapes that pressed against my legs, my torso. My breath came in sharp, ragged gasps. My own hands moved toward the monitor automatically. The double in the video raised its hand, and my hand rose too. A metallic scent filled the air, sharp and cold. The floorboards groaned. I felt its presence right behind me, pressing, patient, waiting. The monitor flickered. My double smiled wider, lips moving slowly in perfect sync with the whisper inside my mind. Soon. I wanted to run. My legs refused. The room went silent, except for the scraping that had stopped, waiting, poised. And I realized with a horror that the room went colder. My breath formed small clouds in the air. I could feel it now, pressing against my back, circling me, learning me, studying every micro-movement. My hands twitched uncontrollably on the desk, my legs barely obeyed. The monitor glowed again. My double wasn't just in the video anymore. It was standing on the other side of the desk, perfectly mirrored, calm, smiling with a precision that made my skin crawl. Its eyes held mine, not a reflection, but intelligence. Hunger. A scraping sound came from the floor behind me. Slow, deliberate. Not random. I forced myself to turn, but nothing was there, or at least nothing human. A shadow stretched impossibly long along the wall, bending corners, crawling toward me. My own reflection appeared in the black screen of the monitor. But it wasn't my reflection. Not exactly. It blinked when I didn't, moved when I was still, smiled when I grimaced. You can't stop it, the voice whispered, in my mind, not from the speakers. I froze. My throat constricted. My heartbeat thundered. The shadow moved closer. I could feel its weight pressing the air around me, like a living thing. My body tried to resist, but I was paralyzed. The double in the video raised a hand. My own lifted with it. Against my will. A faint metallic scent filled the room. The floorboards creaked. The lights flickered. I could hear breathing, not mine. Not human. Then I realized it. It didn't just want to watch me. It wanted to replace me. The desk chair moved slightly behind me. I hadn't touched it. Something cold pressed against my shoulder. I tried to scream. My voice failed. My hands moved automatically toward the keyboard. The monitor blinked. The double leaned forward. Smiled. Whispered again in my mind. Soon. And the shadows pooled at my feet, thick, dark, curling upward, ready. I was trapped. The scraping behind me grew louder, sharper, deliberate. My chest tightened so much I could barely breathe. My hands moved on their own toward the desk, twitching as if some invisible force controlled them. I wanted to scream, to run, to do anything, but my body refused. The monitor glowed brighter. The video played automatically. My double, perfect, calm, terrifying, stepped closer, out of the desk, as if leaving the screen behind. Every movement mirrored mine, but slower, more deliberate, sharper. I could feel it now, right behind me. Not a shadow. Something solid. Something wrong. Its cold presence pressed against my back, my shoulders, my neck. I turned slowly. Nothing. Then I glanced at the monitor. My double was closer than before. Smiling wider. Not friendly. Knowing. Calculated. Its hand lifted and pointed at me. My own hand followed. Against my will. A low, rasping sound came from the corner. Something moved there, thin, long, bending impossibly, twisting like smoke yet solid enough to brush my legs. It was learning me, copying me, preparing to replace me. My heart hammered. My mouth opened, nothing came out. I tried to pull away from the desk, but invisible cords held me. My legs refused to move. The room felt alive. The shadows pulsed, creeping closer. The red camera light blinked. A whisper filled the room, not from the video, not from my speakers, but in my mind, clear and cold. "You're next." The monitor flickered. My double leaned forward, smiling, lips moving in perfect sync with the voice inside my head. My reflection appeared behind me in the black screen, but it wasn't mine. Not fully. The eyes, they weren't mine. I realized, with a sudden, frozen horror, it wasn't just watching. It wasn't just copying. It was replacing me. And there was nothing I could do to stop it. The room felt smaller. Every corner leaned in, every shadow stretched unnaturally, pressing closer. I could feel it behind me, moving deliberately, breathing cold on my neck. The monitor flickered. My double, perfect, twisted, alive, sat upright in the video. Not just watching anymore. Waiting. Calculating. Smiling. Its eyes followed me, though I stared at my desk. It wasn't just a recording. It was aware. A soft shuffle behind me. I spun. My legs moved slowly, stiffly, as if underwater. Shadows pooled in the corners, twisting, forming shapes I couldn't name. One shifted toward me. Too fast. Too deliberate. The video changed. My double raised a hand. My own twitched involuntarily. The air thickened, heavy, sticky, almost breathing. My pulse raced. My throat was raw. I couldn't scream. My voice was trapped inside me. Then I saw the reflection in the black screen. Not just mine, something behind me. A shadow, dark and distorted, wearing my face like a mask. It smiled. I froze. My eyes glued to the screen. My double leaned forward, lips moving, whispering a single word inside my mind. Soon. The shadows moved faster, crawling along the floor, rising slightly, circling me. Cold fingers brushed my legs, my arms, pushing me toward the desk. My hands moved toward the keyboard on their own. The monitor glowed brighter. The video played automatically. My double stepped out of the desk, into the room itself. It mirrored me perfectly. Every blink, every twitch, every heartbeat. I tried to run. My legs refused. My chest tightened, lungs burning. The screen went black. The red camera light blinked once, steady. I was alone. Or I thought I was. A low, scraping sound came from behind. My blood ran cold. I knew, it wasn't waiting anymore. It was ready. I couldn't move. My body felt like it belonged to someone else. My hands rested on the desk, twitching slightly, as if obeying an unseen command. The air behind me shifted, heavier now, almost tangible, pressing against my shoulders. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my legs were useless. The screen flickered again. My self in the video moved differently now. It wasn't just watching, it was reacting to me. Every blink, every slight movement I made, mirrored perfectly. It smiled. Wider this time. Cold. Knowing. A soft shuffle echoed from the corner of the room. My head whipped around. Nothing. The shadows seemed normal for a split second, then stretched unnaturally toward me again. The floorboards groaned beneath a weight that wasn't mine. I could feel it. Behind me. Something wrong. Something alive. Patient. Waiting. Then the monitor glowed brighter. The figure in the video raised a hand slowly. My own hand twitched involuntarily in response. It pointed directly at me. I tried to pull back, to break free, but it was like invisible cords held me in place. The room grew colder. The shadows thickened, pooling into shapes that weren't human, yet moved like they were. Shapes pressed against the walls, crouched behind the furniture, bending impossibly, watching. I heard a whisper. Not from the speakers. Not from the video. Behind me. In my ear. You can't hide. My chest tightened. My breathing was loud in my own ears. I wanted to scream, but nothing came out. My eyes darted to the monitor. The figure in the video leaned closer. Its lips moved, perfectly in sync with the whisper I heard in my own head. Then it spoke again, slower this time. Soon, it will be your turn. The lights flickered. A shadow detached itself from the corner of the room, stretching impossibly long, almost crawling along the floor toward me. I could see its outline clearly now, tall, thin, humanoid, but wrong. The head tilted at an unnatural angle. It was studying me. Learning.